Got your ears? A Johnson automatic rifle. What the heck is this thing doing in the shop? Well, the mag door here is a little bit flaccid and, well, the bolt doesn't stay open when you turn it loose. So we're going to dive down inside this old milsurp here and take a quick look and see if we can figure out what's going on with the bolt open and what's going on with the magazine, and compare and contrast a few things that I think you'll find interesting. There are a variety of opinions about how to take one of these things apart. I always tend to start up in the back here and just push in on this plunger while you're lifting up with your thumb here. Plunger in, thumbnail still okay. There we go. That will come out. And that then shows, give me right here. Okay. That shows where the recoil plunger is going back into the stock, you see. So there's a big old spring back down in here. That's all right, but we've taken that out because basically what I'm going to be able to do now is get the back of the stock off without having to dismember a whole bunch of things. That comes out, that comes out, and then we have to take this takedown plunger off next after we get this all out of here. Okay, so that allows the stock to come off, and that's going to reveal our trigger group and the magazine component, and we're going to need to be able to get inside here. So push down on this locking tab right here. When you push down on that locking tab, you can come at it from the other side, but I think this one's just going to let us lift it out. Okay. So this pin comes out, and when that pin comes out, it allows you to just slide this off. Now, I made the mistake of dropping the hammer while we were doing this. So right now, I'm just going to recock the hammer, and that'll allow me to pull it out. So here's the hammer. Right? This is not a very innovative thing. It's been done before, but the hammer's here. The problem is I'm looking right at it. There's a piece missing out of this gun. There's supposed to be a piece that's riding back here that will, let me see if I can get you guys a look at this here. Hang on a minute. So these two surfaces right here, there's a piece that drops down on top of that when the bolt is all the way to the rear and locks it open. And the data for that is up here inside the magazine, which will crawl up inside, but it pushes up on this lever. We'll reverse engineer how that's supposed to work, see what we have to make here in a minute, or if we can go find parts for this thing. We'll take a look at that. All right, onto the magazine. So there's a pin up in front too. Pop that pin out. And the way this particular gun had been put back together again, we have to take the wood off the front end in order to be able to slide the pin out. So that's just that's two more screws. I don't know if I'm in sequence here. I don't know. And I'm sure there's a lot of guys that have had a lot more time around a Johnson than I have that are doing that. But, you know, I guess never trust an electrician that doesn't have any eyebrows. All right, there's a pin that came out right here, and I'm not entirely positive that pin shouldn't be back there, so you could pull this and take the magazine out. No, it's not going to let you. Yeah, it is. I think you should be able to take this whole thing apart without taking the front end off. So when I put it back together again, I'm going to put this pin right here that holds the magazine on this side. I'm going to put it in backwards. Okay, so having done that, we no longer need this receiver to figure this out. But we go inside here, and this is the rotary magazine right here that pushes the cartridges all the way around. Let me light this a little bit better here. Here we go. So you can see here that this is going to shove the cartridges around, and that is going to sit there. So there must be some kind of spring that's pushing this open and that we have to push in on. And we open up here and we see that there's a spot missing on this stud. So we're going to go do a little bit of research here and see if, you know, we can look and find. Should have had the schematics before you start working on this. But, you know, and just for, you know, just for grips and grins, I'm going to tell you, yes, I know about Sarco. If you're serious about being a gunsmith, you've got to begin to develop a paper library. You got to have a paper library somewhere. So a while back, I bought a copy of Mr. Canfield's book, and these are not in print anymore, and they're getting a little hard to come by. But I'm going to tell you what, books like this are awesome, and they work because the sun came up. So in Mr. Canfield's book, there is a picture here of the inside of this gun. So let's take a look here at a couple of close-ups that I popped to show you the two pieces that I think we need to have. Here we have the bolt hold open. This particular part, you can see the two legs that grab the bolt. You can see the stud that sticks down up inside the magazine well, and we'll talk about how that works. I figured that out in the meantime. And then the other part you have, there's a spring that goes over that axle stud that pops that door shut and keeps it shut. So these are the two pieces we have to go look for, and we found them at Sarco's. So let's order some parts, and we'll be back when we get them. And a couple of days go by, and this is what pops out the back end. This is the bolt hold open piece, and when this thing pops up, it intercepts the back of the bolt. This is advertised as the spring that we're missing, and I've got a funny feeling that it is. So let's start here with the magazine, shall we? I believe that this spring has got to go down in here, right there. All right. So let me get my fingers out of the way here and get all this retracted up. But I honestly think that that goes in there like that, with that piece down now. Okay, there it is right there. And now that's sticking up. So now, yeah, you see now the door has got some give to it. All right. So this will come around the other side. Hang on a minute. Got to have my fingers in the way here. Right there. Oh yeah, there we go. So that's cured the flaccidity of the magazine. So now let's get on to the other part here. While we took the wood off, I'm looking at this thing and I realize, yeah, this gun's designed to be taken apart by driving that takedown pin out of that loop right there. And the whole gun comes apart. So I don't need to take the wood off any piece of this gun. I'm not a Johnson automatic. I mean, I've worked on them before, but this is not my home platform. But I'm pretty sure that this piece right here, and there's a little spring-loaded tab right there. You see that spring-loaded tab? This thing goes down in here and grabs on and is spring-loaded down. So inside of the magazine, there is a, and we got to really look at this here. I'm having a hard time making this out, but I think you can see it. There's a diagonal tab right there, right there. So when this whole thing is put together, let's make sure I can get this now. So if I, right, the tab, the locking tab is down, but as the magazine empties out, hang on a minute. Did I get it? Oh yeah, you see a lot of these things are not set up right. That's bent down. Okay, so we have some adjustments to make here. And I'll try to get this lit better, but you can see this diagonal right here, there is a piece down inside that's supposed to be picking this up, and as it drags by, it lifts up on this. Okay, we got to get this all back together again the right way here. Yeah, that's supposed to be down there. All right, when I get all this into a point where it's easier to demonstrate, I'll bring it back and demo it. When all this is lined up right there, it is. You see the hook moving down? I had to get this line back up and roll it around to where it was going to be when it's in the gun, because I can do it by doing this, but it really wants to be over here, and that's the alignment that's going to be in the gun. So when you run out of ammo, last round comes around, that pops up and grabs the bolt. That's theoretically what's going to go on. Let me get this thing put back together again and we'll take a look. We did discover that there is a recess here in the back for that tab. So I was right. That tab had to be put in. As you can see, somebody's been put in here, and I'm going to tell you what, if I could ever make a case for why you never put brown in aqua glass, there it is, because it looks like somebody repaired this gun with peanut butter or, well, some other substance. So out here in broad daylight, we needed that spring, and we also needed the hold back to hold the bolt open. Okay? As we said earlier, there's a slight amount of bolt lift that happens. Then the recoil propels the barrel backwards. It looks something like this. The recoil will pop this back and open the bolt up. Once that happens, then the recoil energy carries the bolt to the rear, and it'll strip another round. Now, the way this thing was set up, you could reload it on the fly. We have 2 rounds in the gun. So when we pull the bolt back, that round will come up and it'll chamber one. There it is, you can see it. That'll actually chamber the round. Ejection comes forward, we got 1 more round to go. And it locked the bolt back. So I would call that a successful retest. We needed both the spring in the cover, and we also needed the part that held the bolt back. Now this gun's gonna get totally converted out. We haven't even begun to do it yet, but when you're gunsmithing, you gotta fix all the stuff that's broke first. If you take all your time and you put everything, you make it all look pretty and everything, and then it doesn't work. No, you gotta get that out of the way first. So we identified the problems, purchased the parts, and got it done. If Mr. Moore there would hand me that Garand, I'm gonna show him something here. You're all right. So, it's a misnomer that these 2 guns were competitors. They were not competitors. The Garand was and always was going to be the go-to, but if they didn't get it, this was Melvin Johnson's backup plan. So you got like a plan B. There's nothing wrong with this gun. They just didn't need it. So there you go. And as always, it's been a pleasure.